Good morning, everybody. Uh, Welcome to a very lazy Saturday afternoon. Apologize for the screen shaking. I use my phone in order to record myself in the booth, and it is on a very shaky arm. So I apologize for any motion sickness in advance, but we're just gonna have to deal with that. Before warming up, there's a couple of things that I like to do. First of which is I like to brush my teeth. Because if you don't have a naturally lubricated mouth, not doing that can kind of get things a little gummy, a little nasty. So nice sort of teeth wash. Using a non-alcoholic mouthwash can also help to just keep things moving, keep things going. Two, I also like to have, this is tea, I promise, not alcohol. I just have the Guinness cup. I've got throat coat right here, but Pepaco is great. Peppermint tea with honey lemon. Things of that nature tend to do very well for me. And the third, I need to go down need to go down here. I usually end up drinking. This is a gallon-sized water bottle. I usually end up drinking before I get into the booth about half to 3/4 of one of these. I didn't refill it, which I usually do before getting into here, but that's okay. I don't really have much to do today. I'm primarily in here to give this sort of look into what a voiceover warm-up looks like. So, coming down to it, the first thing I like to do is the classic lip trill. If you're a voiceover actor, you've probably heard this before. Very easy. It's just like a horse would make. Before I had issues actually doing it without touching my face, I would need to press here in order to make it happen. But now, whether it's just because I've been behind the mic longer or just I've figured my shit out, able to lip trill without touching my face, which is nice. So I usually end up doing that for like a minute or two. Nothing too crazy. Next up, and just to spare you the the loudness of the lip trill, I'll skip that part. Second, I like to just do a little bit of humming, and I end up massaging my neck. Because if you're like me and you carry a lot of tension in your neck, that can end up sort of gumming up things, getting you stuck higher in your register. It just helps open things up, loosen, relax. Being relaxed is very important going into a voiceover warm-up. Then, if any of you guys are familiar with this, I like to do Lion Lemon. If you don't know what that is, you may have a different name for it, but essentially it goes like this. You make your face as wide and open as possible with your tongue sticking out like that, and then you go into lemon, you squeeze everything up very tightly, go nom 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 very nom 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 and I end up doing that for a little bit longer than there. This is why we like to do our voiceover in a booth alone, so nobody sees us being weird and crazy. Next up, I like to do head and neck rotations. So what that'll end up looking like is just lazily letting gravity take your head, trying to relax it, and just getting all of these rotational muscles a little bit of use. Since this isn't the most natural thing that you do with your head on a daily basis, it might be nice to get it done. Just feel it. Make sure to rotate directions too. Make sure that your whole range of motion is being used here. All right. After doing that, now we're coming to something a little bit more obscure. Even some of you who have been in this longer may not have heard this before, but Fitzmaurice technique, one of the things that she really emphasizes is the use of resonance in voiceover, in all forms of acting. This is more of a traditional acting technique, something that traditional actors may have a little bit more experience from, but voice acting is acting, so doesn't hate to take advice from the classics. So essentially what you want to do is you want to tighten your core to the point where you start involuntarily trembling. There's a number of ways that you can do that. For some people, getting down into a plank and holding that until you just can't barely hold it anymore is a good way to do that. Getting into a bridge position, so like plank, but instead of on your elbows, you're using your hands. There's a number of ways that you can do it. What works best for me is I like to bend as far back as possible, and that gets my core moving. And while I'm in this position, you can hear how my voice is wavering, and some of the less commonly used muscles are getting warmed up. I feel my resonance growing already. And while I'm in this position, take a little bit of a break there. You don't want to hurt yourself, obviously. While I'm in that position tremoring, I like to chew my vowels. So what that looks like without the tremoring is just working your jaw like this and saying ang, 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 sort of like that. But I like to do that down in tremoring. Two birds, one stone, right? So I get down into tremor and I go sometimes why. Okay, that's enough of that for now. Next up, tongue stuff. Because whether you know it or not, your tongue is a very important part of your voiceover kit. If it's not placed right, you might get unnecessary mouth noises, all that stuff. So what I like to do is, there's two things. I like to do finger eights and getting the peanut butter off your gums. I'll start with the first one because, it's a little more arcane. It doesn't have as catchy of a title. Just sort of go around like that. Like you're trying to lick peanut butter off of your gums, which is where the name comes from. And just do that rotation a couple of times just to get the tongue moving a little bit more. And then finishing things off, tongue figure eight. So press into your cheek. And you try to get as close to a figure eight movement as possible. It doesn't need to be perfect. And I do that. I usually end up doing that a little bit longer than that, but that's just sort of the broad strokes of how I warm up in the morning. And the final thing that I like to do, 5 times fast, I run through a handful of tongue twisters. I like, New York, you need New York, you need unique New York. I like red leather, yellow leather, that's a classic. And I like rubber baby buggy bumpers. So let's go through all 3 of those 5 times. New York, you need New York, you need unique New York, New York, you need New York, you need unique New York, New York, you need New York, you need unique New York, New York, you need New York, you need unique New York, New York, you need New York, you need unique New York. Not perfect, but whatever. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. And rubber baby buggy bumpers, rubber baby buggy bumpers, rubber baby buggy bumpers, rubber baby buggy bumpers, rubber baby buggy bumpers. And that's how I warm up every day. So if you were looking for just general advice when it comes to doing the general voiceover warm up, I hope this was useful. I know it certainly is for me, because maybe if you want a comparison, see where I was at the beginning of this video and where I am now. Yeah, that's all from me, folks. Bye-bye.